Hi and hello there, welcome to Literary Devices. I'm Fatuma, and there is a war in my room with books, and the books are winning. Book haul wise, the epic fail of the month would have to be the fact that I got Prodigy by Mary Lou. What I didn't know at the time, of course, is that this is the second book to Legend, and I thought it was the first book. I don't know why. I got it, and I'll tell you, 20 minutes before, I was reading the blurb. I went and I read the blurb, and like, after escaping, and I'm like, well, shit. But I will find Legend somehow, and I will read it, and I will reunite the brothers together. I promise you. This is incredibly sad because I have no self-will. This part epitomizes the fact that I have no self-will. Is that at the library, like 4 weeks ago, so yes, overdue, I got Rick Yancey's The Fifth Wave, and it's in my room, and I end up paying off like my debts at the library anyways, so I'm like, whatever, I'll read this book. But then I go to Shoppers. Again, we have a Shoppers culprit, and gets Rick Yancey's The Fifth Wave. Even though I had it at home, I got it anyways because I got it for 15 bucks, and I can keep it forever, and if I hate it, I can burn it. If not, then I would never burn books, guys, don't listen to me. But essentially, I have my own copy now while having a library copy. So I'm gonna read this, and I'm gonna give this back eventually. And then I also picked up an adult read, yay, and this is by Paulo Coelho's The Witch of Portobello, and this again was a Goodwill store buy for like $2, and it looks kind of interesting. Everybody talks about The Alchemist nonstop, and I have a thing where I'm like super interested about like witches and all that Wiccan stuff. Because you can't really go wrong with Paulo Coelho, right? If anything, it'll make me look smarter on my bookshelf. Alright, so I've got At First Sight by Nicholas Sparks. I've realized that through reading the selection and lead that I'm not a huge fan of romantic novels, but I do enjoy some movies. Like I love The Notebook, and I love The Walk to Remember, and I love like movies like that, but I don't know what's getting lost in translation in books. So I've never read a Nicholas Sparks book. I shouldn't be weighing all my hatred towards romantic novels on like a couple books that I've read. So this is gonna kind of make it or break it for me, to let me know if I can deal with the sappiness that is through love, through alliteration. I don't know why I broke into that accent. Another awesome hardcover Amazon buy was Anna Dressed in Blood, whatever. And I got this because it is another book that's been going around the booktube circuit, and it seems super interesting. It's with ghosts, and it sounds gory, and has the creepiest cover ever, and I love it, and I can't wait to get to this. Oh, and Cassandra Clare said stuff about this. Spellbinding and romantic. Well, if Cassandra Clare says so. Another book that I picked up from the Goodwill store is The Secret Minds by Diana Zimmerman, and this is a fantasy book. It's a series, and that's all I know about it. And it has a cool cover. So yeah, the whole don't judge a book by a cover stuff is bull. And it was also only like, it was $1. It was $1. So either this is going to, you know, be a gateway into what could be a really awesome fantasy series, or it's just gonna sit and look pretty on my bookshelf. Yeah. And now, because the thing that I always try to do when I go to used bookstores is find cheap classics, which never happens. The classics are always super expensive. But thankfully, I have found a couple, one of them being Emma by Jane Austen, and I haven't read any Jane Austen. I'm actually really bad when reading classics because I traveled a lot when it came to like doing high school, so I wasn't ever really forced to read these in school. So Emma, I heard, is a pretty awesome classic to read. I've read a little bit of stuff like from Jane Austen, and it seems incredibly well written. And hopefully, I won't leave this getting dusty on my shelf for too long. Classic time, book dancing time always tends to happen. It's just inevitable. And the second classic, I don't know if this is kind of classic. I'm assuming it's a classic, ish, is George Orwell's 1984. Now, if anybody knows me in real life, they know how like unhealthily obsessed I am of Big Brother and all the Big Brother Canada, like all that stuff. So essentially, Big Brother's name came from this book, and no, that's not the only reason I'm reading it, so hold your tomatoes. I've heard a lot of references to this book, and I have read Animal Farm by George Orwell when I was in school, and it wasn't terrible, but sci-fi dystopian novels, hopefully written so far back, will be interesting to read because people do make a lot of references to this book. And what are we in the literary world if not trying to always be in the loop? The book I'm most excited for is Shatter by Tara Maffei. If I'm saying your name right, kudos to me. And essentially, I know very little about this series. All I know is that I've admired Tara Maffei for a very long time, ever since I've heard about her accomplishments and such forth. And as well, this is like a writing thing to know, but her literary agent was Jody Reamer, who is a literary agent for John Green and Stephanie Meyer. So clearly Jody Reamer has a pretty good eye to see what the people want, or at least most people want. And I am kind of gonna see how Tara Maffei falls into all this awesomeness. Got my eye on you, Tara. I got my eye on you. That was weird. And that is a whole book haul, guys. Hopefully any of these books have sparked your interest relatively. You can go check out their points on Goodreads and see if you'd want to read them along with me, should I ever get to them all. Please like and subscribe if you want to see any more videos, and I'm going to try to read some more books because I'm lagging, and Camp NaNoWriMo has its the last stretch, and it's just taking my life over. It has, but I love it anyways. So I'll talk to you guys later, and for God's sake, go read something.